Thank you, Seva ma'am. Good evening to all of you. Good evening to all of you who have joined from India, and good morning to everyone joined from US. And thank you, Seva ma'am, for hosting this and a wonderful introduction. We will get started with this book. So, Originals by Adam Grant. So, Adam Grant, he is the author of this book, and this particular book is a very famous book. It is a number one New York bestseller, and there are so many business leaders and CEOs who are literally so passionate about this book, and they also suggest everyone to read this book. And if you look at the cover page, we could see the comments from Malcolm Gladwell and also Sheryl Sandberg, who is the CEO of Facebook. So all these several leaders have promoted this book, and so we are going to learn a lot of things from this book, and so I'm excited to start this journey. So before start with the book, I'll give a brief introduction about the author. Author is Adam Grant. So he is a professor at Wharton School or University of Pennsylvania, and he's an organizational psychologist. So he studies the psychology and behavior of people, especially specializing in the organizational psychology. And he has written multiple books, and many of his books are really great books to read. So, for one of them is these originals, and other ones are Think Again and Give and Take. There is a book called Give and Take, and recently there was another book called Hidden Potential. So there are like many books written by this author, 4 to 5 books. So today we are going to learn from the book originals, and in future I will also see if I can review his other books because after reading this book I have become his fan, and I have also listened to his TED talks and his other business talks in conferences, and I have shared a couple of links in this particular PPT. I'll share it with you so you can also watch them later. Like the TED talk about this originals, and in his website he has given all the other talks as well, the links. So basically, let's start with this originals. What is originals? So original, if you look at the meaning itself, so a thing which is of unique character. That's what we call as originals. If you take originals as looking at the people, whom do they call as originals? Are like the people who are different from other people, and then they are different in an interesting way. So they are called as originals who think differently than the crowd, and also they have a fresh and inventive perspective towards the things. So those are the originals. So like if you see, like they have a different approach to a lot of things, and that's what makes original stand out. So looking at the uh, difference between originality and conformity. So what makes the originals different? Because by when we can understand by comparing the conformity and the originality. So conformity is like following the conventional path and like maintaining the status quo and just following the crowd. But originality is something where you're trying to bring in new ideas. You're taking the road that are less traveled, and you're going against the grain, the usual way of doing the things. So that is the difference, and that is like the two approaches which we can follow in our life to achieve something. So if we want to go with conformity, we can go with a path which was set by other people already who have experienced and who have gone through that. And the other option is to being exploring our own unique ideas by taking the road less traveled. So to understand little more, how what do we mean by taking the road less traveled? Like if you look at the ideas or what we get, like usually the ideas are not always completely unique. I mean, what do you say, like original? They are not like always completely original. Always there will be a little influence of the world around us, but it is like you're taking some existing idea and trying to bring in new unusual way of thinking about that problem or the situation. So here like you can look at concept of like novelty and the conventional way of looking at things. So there is a thing called like there is a term called uh, kleptomnesia. Like this is like we think like we have an idea. We think that it is completely original and original idea which we have created, but um, but actually if you look at that idea, it will definitely have some influence of the world around us, and then it would have started from that from the already existing ideas. So why we trying to understand this thing is like when you look at an original idea, it will always start with an existing one, and then you are trying to use that in a different way, in an unusual way. So that is the difference. So let me keep going with the next. So let me talk about one interesting study they have done. One of the economists called Michael Huseman, he was studying the performance of the employees who are the customer service agents who talk to customers and they sell the products. So, when he was trying to study the performance of the employees, what he found, what he something interesting he found is like the employees who performed more better and who are more committed. He was trying to find how what is the thing that is different in them. So surprisingly, he found that the browser that the employees were using was the surprising clue that he had, because the people who were using the browser like Firefox and Google Chrome, they were more committed. They were staying in the company for 15% longer than the other employees, and also they took lesser number of sick leaves, and they were showing up to work more. And another interesting thing was like their customers were very happy, and comparatively to all the other customers. And also they noticed that they were performing better than the other employees. So author was very surprised when he saw this, finding. What is there in the browser? Like how can a browser make a difference in a employee's performance? So they were trying to find out the reason why that made a difference, and then they were checking whether those employees were more technical savvies, or they were more what do you call, like more tech person and all those things. But the finding was uh, that was just because of the reason where these employees, they did not go with a default browser whatever was given, which was the Internet Explorer, Safari in the Mac, and also like in mm, Windows we have Edge. So back in those days, we had the Internet Explorer. So instead of going with the default, these people, they took the initiative to go and find the better option. They installed the Google Chrome or Firefox, which were the better browser, and that act of initiative is what makes the difference between these employees. So they did not go with what was given with the default, and then they took the initiative to go and use a new different browser which looked as a better option for them. So this is really a surprising finding, and I was surprised because uh, I also use Google Chrome in my machine, so it made me happy. Okay, so and let's go to the next one. So from this, we are also learning the hallmark of originality. Like the first thing is we are rejecting the default, and the second thing is we are exploring the better options, and then we are starting with a curiosity, like why the things are this way, why can't it be this way, or can it be this way. So that is the curiosity is the starting point. And another interesting thing is whenever we come across this experience of Vuja Day, Vuja Day is you all would have heard about deja vu. So Uja De is opposite of deja vu. Um, Deja vu is like you're seeing something new, but you feel like it is something you have seen that already somewhere, or you have already come across that. That is deja vu. But here we are talking about Uja De. That Uja De means like you are seeing a similar thing, the very familiar thing that you are seeing day to day, every day, but now you're seeing it in a fresh perspective. So whenever we have a Uja Day experience, that is where like we might have a lot of new ideas and a new unusual way of looking at things. Okay, and that is these are like the points to understand about the originality, how the originality starts. And let me give you a brief story about the four students. We know that Adam Grant is the professor at Wharton School, and there were four students here. There are four students of the author who were studying in the university. While they were studying, like they used to have a group discussion and all. So when these four friends were discussing about their glasses, couple of them they were wearing glasses, but they could not afford to buy a new glasses because the glass prices were too expensive, and they were trying to keep trying to fix their old glasses and wearing it for a long time. Even when their eye power was increasing, they couldn't afford because of already having so much of loan and debt, and they couldn't afford to spend so much on their glasses. So they were discussing and they were ranting about it, and that's when they were thinking about why are these glasses so expensive. These are just normal glasses, right? Why are these so expensive? Even the smartphone, the glass prices are like so much equivalent of the smartphone prices. There is nothing great technology involved in these glasses. So all these things they were discussing, and then they eventually they came up with an idea of trying to bring a business idea of selling glasses for less price to the people who cannot afford it. So basically, the problem started with them. Uh, they had that problem of couldn't afford glass for the glasses, and then they started discussing about that idea. But whenever they discuss this idea with friends and everyone, right, everyone were rejecting this idea because the way they started is like that was a time when lot of the e-commerce companies were growing, like Zappos for shoes, and Amazon was already in the leading in the market. So they were looking at an idea of selling the glasses through online internet. So when they were discussing about this idea with others, like if no one was convinced, and they had to work on this idea for a long time. Even though they were studying, they were also keep discussing about this idea and coming up with a plan and everything. So eventually, they came up with a plan. They created a website, and they started selling glasses through the website, and initially to attract more people, to bring the trust in people, what did is they gave some free sample to the customer. The new they can buy some glasses for free, try it for free. If they like the frame and specs, then they can pay and they can buy it. So this way, like, lot of people they started coming and buying the glasses. So let me reveal that company. I think you all will know this company, Warby Parker, and they are the that was a breakthrough when they started it. And Neil and Dave, they are the co-CEOs of this company. So they started the important thing to learn from here is like their idea of selling the classes through internet was new. It was not a conventional way, but they did experimentally. They did all this, and they finally found how to make it. And also, other thing is the important thing why it became more famous is they made it very affordable for people who cannot buy expensive glasses. So they were selling glasses for $95. But if you go and buy a glasses in the US, it will cost around 700 $800. So selling the glasses for $95 has really made a lot of people to afford those glasses, and it reached a lot of people. So they also made it like a uh, non-profit, and what they did is like whenever they sell one two glasses say here in the US, they also donate one glass in the poor country where people cannot afford. So that way, this company became a breakthrough. And believe it or not, when they had this idea, they first went to the author and they asked for they told about this idea to the author, Adam Grant, and they asked if he is interested in investing in that company. Then he was asking more details, and they were saying like, how are you going to do this? Do you and all that? They were saying like they're not going to completely get full time engaged in this. They are going to study. They are going to do their internship. They are also working. and parallelly they are working on this idea on as a side business. So author was not convinced because he thought that they are not so serious about it, or they did not take much risk. So he was not convinced about it and he did not invest in it. So he says that that was a big investment mistake he did, to not seeing how this idea was original and how it eventually became a billion-dollar company. So that is a story about the Wabi Parker's breakthrough, and other lessons what we can learn from them is about the co-CEOs. So usually the conventional way is having one CEO for a company, but these two executives, they are the co-CEOs. They don't want to have that leadership in one person hand, and that was a very unconventional way of having the leadership. So that is another thing to learn from their story. And so the important thing point we also want to learn here is like balancing the risk portfolio. What the author means by this is like whenever, just consider this like the investment portfolio, where we try to balance the portfolio, and we don't put all the eggs in one basket, and we distribute it like investing in different types of investment. Same way, look at this also like balancing the risk portfolio. Like if you look at the example of Wabi Parker, so they did not just jump into the business immediately when they were thinking about this idea, but instead of that they were studying, they were doing the internship, and also they accepted their full-time job and they were working in the full-time job, and parallelly they were trying to experiment this idea, and eventually once it kicked off and started getting more revenue, they switched full time to this particular business. So that is how in general what we all think is like okay, entrepreneurs and these people who have original ideas, they are risk takers. Like they don't worry about the risk, or like they don't they are good at handling the risk. All these things we might think that way, but the truth is like they also very much worry about the uncertainties, and also they figure out a way to mitigate the risk, and having a safely betting on that business. So that is very important for being an original. So we need to bet, we have to hedge our bets safely, and having the plan um, if it doesn't go well. So that is one interesting thing, and also here he also talks about the example of Bill Gates. You know, like we all think that yeah, Bill Gates was a dropout. He took a big risk. He dropped out and he jumped into the business and all that. But the thing is, he did not jump into the business directly. Initially he took a leave of absence and he was trying out things. When everything went well, that is when he dropped out from the studies that he was doing. So that is the important thing to understand is like we need to learn from the originals how to mitigate the risk and balance the risk portfolio. And coming to the next interesting story about the Segway. So in this topic, like author talks about this product Segway. I think you would have heard about this. Like this is like a scooter. Uh, this is like a small scooter kind of a device where you can move around within your building or a office building or a place where you are. So this will help you like when you had to walk too much within your building or somewhere. So when the person Dean Kamen, he was the one who invented this device, Segway. So when he invented this device, he was reaching out to the investors to invest into his business and invest into uh, this product and then launching it to the market. So what happened is when he introduced this product, like people like Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos, and John Doerr, these people are like the investors who were very excited about this product, and then they also invested in this product. But what happened was like they thought this will become a very big hit, but it did not become a great success as they expected, and they were too much excited about this idea, and they did not look at the reasons for what can go wrong. But eventually when they launched this product in the market, it did not they produced a lot of products, but did not go through and became a great success like they expected. So we can learn the thing what author wants us to learn from this is when we have a new idea, like even though we are excited and we have this passion towards that idea, sometimes we might miss out on whether this idea will really be successful, because so we need to take it in an experimental way without just jumping directly into it. So that is like he calls about the hazard of intuition and hubris and that confidence that we have. So let us learn another story of a success story, which is the opposite. Like there is a TV show called Seinfeld. So this particular show, initially when they were trying to launch this show in the TV, uh, they will be showing this particular show with a limited audience in Los Angeles. They will have like 100 people or some audience who will watch this show, and then they will take their feedback and then they will put it on the television. But what happened is when this particular show was initially played in the Los Angeles the studio, initially there was not much positive response, because all the people who are evaluating mostly were in the field of the television field, and all they have a lot of experience in the television and the entertainment field, but still they were not convinced with this particular show, and they did not guess that the show will become a big hit. But the one of the executive in NBC, he was very excited about this particular idea, and he also had a very less experience in the entertainment industry or even the comedy side of the comedy or the stand-up show kind of experience. He had very least experience, but he was the one who was more excited about this, and he was keeping this running in the pilot mode for a long time. And eventually after like almost a year, people they started getting some positive feedback, and they also put it on the television as a pilot program. And when they launched it after a year or so, it became very famous, and it brought in a lot of audience for that particular show. So initially, even though the TV executives have seen so many shows and they have created so many shows for the television, they did not guess this show will become very big hit. The reason behind this is like it was a new idea. If you have not have a background about this particular show, I'll give you a little background. So this character Seinfeld, he is a stand-up comedian. So this is a story about a person who lives in New York, and all the daily things that happens in his life, his interaction with his friends, and girlfriend and his friend, and each character in this particular show are very different. And in that end of the episode, uh, he will be talking to the audience like a stand-up comedian, and he will be telling what happened during that particular day or a week, and like a stand-up comedy show, and then they will show the actual thing what happened in like a serial. So that was a new idea, and that is one unconventional way, and that's why like people did not expect that will be a success, and they were not very comfortable initially to accept this particular idea. So that was the example of a success story, but initially the entrepreneurs did not see that it is really going to be successful. Everyone thought it is not going to be successful. So, so we saw two stories. One was the failure, and one was the success story. So, what are the takeaways for us from these two stories? Is like the double-edged sword of the experience. You know, the more experience that we have, like we tend to fail to look at things in a different perspective. So even though a lot of experience is really a plus point for us in a given field, and being an expert is really helps us get things done faster. But if you look at it, it is a double-edged sword where we miss out on the other way of looking at it. So evaluating, like whenever we are evaluating an idea with a group, like if the evaluators also come with the mindset of the creator, they may not be able to see the what all are the disadvantages of that particular idea. So that is one important takeaway. And also when we are trying to as individual, we all, when we have a broad range of experience in different domain, that will help us to be more creative. So it will help us to see the things that what the experienced one cannot see. So that is another great takeaway from this. And for this is another very good example, the story of Galileo. So when Galileo was looking at the moon, and to the through the telescope, he was studying the moon. Uh, he had an advantage compared to the other scientists, you know, because Galileo was an artist, so he had a good experience in painting and drawings and paintings. So that helped him to notice all the shadows that are showing on the moon surface, and then he was able to clearly tell like what all are the like how it actually looked like. They were like mountains, and they were like ups and downs and the craters on the moon, and also like they were like mountains which made that shadow fall on the places all over the moon, and it looked like a lighter area and a darker area. So only Galileo was able to make a good sense of it, and he was able to discover that, because while painting, generally when we are painting the sceneries, right, we do the shadow, and we'll also do that shadowing part and all that. So that really helped him to discover all this, and it gave him that added advantage. So that is the importance of having art and science together, having exposure to art, having a little bit of experience in art, and then other field will help us to look at things differently, and it will help us to be more creative. And the another interesting topic he talks about is about procrastination. Generally, we have all the mindset that if we have something to do, right, okay, let me just complete this and get this out of my list. Otherwise, it keeps bothering my mind. So usually, most of us we try to do that because we want to get the things completed. Here he talks about procrastination. It's a little opposite of that. Like trying to procrastinate of the few things intentionally, because having those things being left incomplete always makes it running in the background of our mind, and it is like an unsolved problem running in the back of your mind. So especially when it comes to some ideas or something uh, where you want to ponder upon, it is okay to procrastinate a little bit, and they call it like waiting for the right time, or also you can consider it like delaying it purposefully. So the reason is like to use the benefit of Zeigarnik. Okay, let me spell it. Like I think it is Zeigarnik effect. So this is a psychological effect where when we have some things which are incomplete, I mean incomplete in your mind, it will be keep running in the background, and it will trying to find. Our mind will try to keep finding some solution for that. So we are going to use the benefit of that by purposefully delaying few things. And how that works is, um, you have a thing, you are working on something, you have not completed it, and you just leave it incomplete, running it in the background of your mind. You are going to you're proceeding with all the other things you have in your life, other activities, and suddenly when you stumble upon something different in your day to day thing, right? If it has a weird connection between this one and the idea that you're working on, that will give you some new perspective on that particular solution. So that is the benefit of Zeigner, sorry for this, Zeigarnik effect. Okay, and best example is Martin Luther King, his speech on the during the march, right? So after the march, his speech, he did not prepare a speech for a long time, even though he collected some points to talk for the speech on the day where that event happened. He was traveling for a year to a lot of places within the US, and eventually he was seeing a lot of things. And he kept this speech preparation. He procrastinated, and he kept it to do it later. And whatever he saw throughout his journey, he collected all the points for the speech, and then he delivered the speech. So he prepared the speech just before the day of the speech. He started preparing it the day before, the night before the speech, and that is when he got the idea of this particular phrase, I have a dream. This particular phrase, I have a dream, it reached people so much and connected with people so much emotionally. And in the speech, he will be talking about all the inequalities that are happening, the tragical things that are happening for the black people. And then um, he was also concerned that am I being too negative and I'm only talking about all the negative things. But for almost two-thirds of his speech, he was talking about all the inequalities. And then he starts the I have a dream, and he talks about the dream of having people getting the equal rights, and people at the positive side of the future that he is looking at, and made the people to also look at his dream as their own dream. So that was an interesting example from Martin Luther King's speech, and how he prepared, and also how this particular phrase really made that speech so powerful. I have a dream. So And next, very good, interesting example I want to share from this book is about the Lion King. I think you all are fond of this movie, The Lion King by Disney. So when they were writing the script for this particular movie, they have the creative writers working on this particular script. They started this particular idea with okay, let's start writing a script for based on a story for lion, and then eventually when they were discussing about the storyline, so one of the creative writer, he reached recently was watching a play of Shakespeare's play, and it involves the story of a king story, and then he was trying to connect that, and he was saying like he watched that play Hamlet, where like in that Hamlet Shakespeare's play, uh, that storyline is like there is a prince, and that the uncle of that prince will kill his dad, who was the king, and then the prince will take revenge. That was the storyline. So they connected these two, and then they came up with this plot, and they connected the character with the Hamlet character, the lion's character with the Hamlet character, and then they brought the plot together. So, and then this was a very novel idea, and it really became a big hit, and also it also won a lot of awards. So the takeaway from this particular story is like we have to begin with a novel template. If they would have started this discussion like okay, let's write a story based on the Hamlet Shakespeare's play, which is something familiar to everyone. If they would have started from there, they would not have arrived at this particular lion's story, which is a story of a lion, which is like similar to this particular character. So that is the importance of starting, having the starting point as a novel template. And so whenever we can use this as a reminder, whenever we want to generate ideas from our team or a group, let's start with a new place. So it will not like bring in that the old way of thinking, and it will bring a new surprising ideas eventually. So that is the story of the Lion King. And the next topic, he talks about like the rethinking the group think, like the importance of overcoming the group think, and overcoming the confirmation bias. Like whenever there is a group of people working together, we tend to just go with what our leader says, without just like bringing out the I mean the disadvantages of that idea, just going with what the leader says. So I know like we this is a very interesting topic we discussed in many of our previous sessions also. So how can we do the rethink thing of the group think? Like how can we come out of this group think? He gives a lot of tips and suggestions in this particular topic. And the first thing is like one is about seeking the feedback. So whenever you are pitching in, you're looking for a feedback. When you are showing the audience or the showing the people that you are open for feedback, they will be more open to come back to you and share their feedback. A best example he gives from his experience as a professor in his I mean in his experience as a professor, he used to ask students for feedback. Generally, they will hesitate to give feedback. And then once what he did is he started his conversation in a very funny way, and he shared like some of the bad feedbacks he got from in his past from his students. And eventually like people felt more comfortable. Okay, it's okay to share feedback, and then they started giving him more feedback. So he shared some of the worst feedbacks in front of the students, and then students were surprised to see that and then they were open to go back and tell their own feedback as well. So that is one way of looking at it. And the other point to learn here is, when we are trying to bring our ideas to the group, we always want to look very confident. Like we want to show all the plus points of this idea. See, these are the points that this idea is going to work. But paradoxically, when you are presenting an idea, if you also add, you know these are the things that can go wrong with this idea, then what will happen is the people will become more, um, they will start trusting you more, and they will not think like, you okay, you are trying to sell me something, and they will not distance themselves from you, and instead they will become more disarmed and more empathetic and listen to your idea, because the fact that you're not trying to just show the confidence and how it will work, you're also considering the factor that we might go wrong. That will bring a very good constructive way of looking at the thing. I mean, critical things about that idea. The people from the audience will also start giving the critical critics about that idea, which is very good, because we will analyze in all the perspective before you are going and implementing it. So that is one good thing, how we can overcome that group think. And that is how, like, we can make our audience and our group to open up for and bring out all their doubts and their critics about the ideas. So so this was all the interesting things that we can learn from this book, and there are lot more to learn. I tried to bring all the interesting things from this book. So I will just summarize, and towards the end of the book, he is giving us some actions which we can go and take in our life to become originals, and to take that initiative, and we also can become the originals. So for individuals, so let's start with actions that we can take as an individual, which can create an impact. So these are the okay. The first topic is generating and recognizing the original ideas. How to generate and recognize original ideas? These are the guidelines, like questioning the default, and and then increase the number of ideas you generate. So eventually, finally, what is going to make difference is not just the ideas, but how you select which idea is going to work. So having more ideas will help you to uh, bring that possibility of making it a success, making some idea successful, and immersing yourself in new domain. This is about having a broad range of expertise, like exposure to broad range of experience, trying to learn a lot of different things from different domain will give us a good perspective. And procrastinating strategically on the ideas you want to keep working on, and having different perspective, you can procrastinate those things intentionally. And other thing is about seeking for feedback, and voicing, and how we can voice and champion the original ideas. So to make that ideas come into action, right? So these are the guidelines, like taking care of the risk, balancing the risk portfolio, and then highlighting, whenever you're discussing about the idea, highlighting the negative points or the critics, and um, showing what can go wrong, and trying to look at it in all the aspect, and also making the people get familiar with what the idea you're trying to propose, and having like a lot of people in your network with wide range of experience. It will help you to, and when you talk to them, you will get a lot of different perspective. That is also another important thing. And be tempered radical. What he means by this is like being able to like adapt, experiment, and adapt, and like making that idea work through just not just going with a blind approach, but trying to experiment and learn from those mistakes. Okay, and this is about the emotions, like how to handle your emotions, and like focusing. Like the first thing is about how you bring the motivation to work on that idea, right? So it is like we might be in two different kind of emotions. When we are committed and we are very certain, okay, this is going to work, we need to motivate ourselves in a different way. But when we are very uncertain and doubtful, we need to motivate us in a different way, like okay, we have come this long, like we have taken this much of effort, so let's take a little more effort. That kind of way you can motivate yourself. And when you're committed, looking at the rewards what you get while progressing, that is the way you can motivate. And managing all these emotions matters, because we all are emotional beings, so it will help us to do better. And the most favorite thing in this particular is like the last point, like if we do not take that initiative, the status quo, it will keep persisting. So we need to keep this in mind, and when we want to change the status quo, we need to take the initiative for that. So similarly, there are some action they have given for leaders, like running some innovation tournament, like in IT, like background, like we have events like hackathon and all, where we bring new ideas. So that is one way the leaders can do. And then like picture yourself as an enemy trying to bring all the critics, and when you're pitching an idea, bringing the people from various doing various functions, it will bring a lot of different critics from different angle. So these are like actions for the leaders. And we also like um, there are few more points, like how to bring that culture of originality, and being keeping the environment more open for criticism, and hearing from the employees, taking more feedback and all that. So these are the things that leaders can use. And there are some points for parents and teachers as well, like teaching our children to be um, originals. We can teach them to learn from role models, like have role models, and follow the role models. And also like another interesting thing here is like when we are telling our kids about something, um, teaching something to our kids, instead of just telling them in a rules, giving them rules, this is the way you have to do, or this is the way you need to do, we need to teach them the values. So they will be able to not get their mind will not be restricted with the ideas, and become more conventional, rather than they will be a person of values. So that is one good point. And he like there are a lot of interesting things he talks about children as well, like the children who are like child prodigies, and the children who are like average during their school days, but eventually become innovators and all. So um, I have not discussed much on the topic, but because of the time constraint, I will stop here, and will I will let all of you to add your points, interesting points from your experience as well. So it will be a great takeaway for all our audience. And thank you so much for listening to this book review. And I will open this forum for discussion, and I'm very happy to hear back from you on the feedback and also the experience that you have in your personal life as well, which will help me and all our audience. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. Okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. Yes. Thank you, Sriram, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you for your appreciation. Yes. Thank you, Annamalai, sir. Thank you very much. Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening. Yes, yes. Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. சார் நீங்க மியூட் ஐ திங்க் மியூட்ல இருக்கீங்க சார். Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Now we can hear you. Correct. Yes, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Yeah, actually, this book, like sir mentioned, there are like so much to grasp. Like um, I don't know if the message would have reached you because there are like so many stories for a lot of entrepreneurs, politicians, and it took a lot of time to grasp for me as well. But yeah, it's like a reading a, but it's very interesting to read all the stories, and after reading those stories, like making sense of it, how the originals are different, how they act, how what are the takeaway or messages that we can learn from their experience and all that. So yeah, it's really very great book for everyone to read, and there were a lot of interesting stories about political leaders as well, and Lucy Stone, who fought for women's rights for voting, and like lot of stories, like so many stories are there, and whichever stories I was able to grasp more and convey the message. I took those stories in this presentation, but my strong suggestion for all of you, if you get a chance, please definitely read this book, and it will we will at least get one or two takeaways. So that's the best part of it, and yeah. So I also have plans to read his other books like Think Again and um, Give and Take and Hidden Potential. So eventually I'll try to review those books as well. And I will also recommend you to watch his TED Talk, and the way he has spoken in the TED Talk, he has um, it was a very light session throughout the TED Talk, and he puts forth his ideas in a very um, connectable way. So I have shared those links for the TED Talks. Please go through them. I believe that you will also find it very interesting and helpful. So yes, sir. Thank you, and thank you all of you for your feedback and. Um, yeah, Sriram sir, you want to say? No, thanks a lot. I will go through the TED Talk. Thanks a lot. Keep up the good work, that originality. Keep up. Your Thank you, sir. Skill itself is okay. Yeah. Sure, sir. Thank you, sir. And one thing I wanted to ask, like, uh, would you want to add anything from your experience, sir? I wanted it to have a little discussion, but I know I took a lot of time. But yeah, if you all want to add something regarding the originality from your life, that all also will be good, great. But yeah, that's I think there is no competition in being original, being your own, setting your own path. You may take a 20%, 30% of a copy from using a mentor or mentee, or setting some action, setting your own, you be your own star, shooting star. So always that's good. That's what I think. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, that's a nice quote, sir. Leave a mark. Can I can picturize the footprints like yeah. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Yeah. Right, right. Yes, sir. Yes. The food example is good. Like even when we see the recipe and prepare, but like the way the ingredients that we add, that will have that unique taste, right? So yeah, that yeah, very much relatable to this originality. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. Correct, correct. Yes, yes, sir. That recipe example was really good. Yes, thank you. Sure, sure, sure. Thank you, sir. Thank you, everyone. Thank you, Seva ma'am. Thank you, Seva ma'am. Sorry, I didn't ask your feedback. Okay, okay, ma'am. Okay. Thank you, Shivam. And Shivam, I wanted to tell this. I know many of them, but the way you create the posters and for our Red Fort team presentation in very creative way, uh, that is something from your originality, ma'am. So I want to highlight that and appreciate your efforts for making such nice posters and creative posters, and also that 10 days of posters and calendar. So I yes. Yes, yes, ma'am. I could say like every time you bring new template and new way of putting the poster. So I'd like to highlight that and appreciate that, Siva ma'am. Thank you so much for doing that for all of us. Yes, yes, we need to thank Zengu sir. Yeah, he's right, right. Yes, yes. All the feedback and all the suggestions and all the points that our forum people in our forum adding everything is a great contribution. Thank you so much, and thank you, Seva ma'am. Thank you, Arnagiri sir. Yeah, okay. Thank you. Thank you. See you. Bye.